and he always loves to do this kind of stuff. And is that accurate?
Almost. But the
He always loves to do this kind of stuff.
I was impressed with the volleyball, actually, and the little accent over the
accurate?
name. Right. I was giving him a hard time. That there
almost.
But
He always loves to do this kind of.
We have stars in our Brazilian flag as well.
Where are they?
I need to in the blue circle. Yeah, we have stars.
But the color's accurate.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Could be better.
We're going to give him a little craft corner, and then I'm going to buy stock in Hobby Lobby because he's there all the time. Anyway.
Yeah, we have stars.
But the color's accurate.
It's perfect.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm very excited. We're going to give him kind of in awe of this amazing woman sitting next to me, Ana Paula. Am I saying that properly?
Perfect.
Ana Paula Volei.
Perfect.
Okay. Woohoo. She's a Brazilian pro volleyball player, a 4-time Olympian, 4 times, count them, a UCLA architect, and wait for it, also a Republican. I know, shocking. So thank you so much for being here with us
thanks
today.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm just going to call you Ana.
Perfect.
Because you said Ana Paula is like when you're in trouble.
When my mom was really mad at me, Ana Paula, and I go, oh, what have I done?
I think that's what God created middle names for.
Right.
Although I like my middle name. Anyway, so you're very well known in Brazil, and to anyone who follows Olympic volleyball. So I've obviously watched your matches. We'll get into a little bit more of how many Olympics you've competed in and what years they were. But for our viewers who don't know about your accomplishments as a professional athlete, can you give us a rundown of your athletic career and how it started?
So I think it started when I was probably 8 years old.
Wow.
When I was watching the Olympics in 1980.
Uh-huh.
I was watching volleyball, and I remember my mom came to the living room and said, "Oh, you're watching volleyball?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I was watching volleyball for 2 weeks, and after those 2 weeks in 1980, I told my mom during the closing ceremony, I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, I'm going to be a volleyball player when I grow up," and she goes, "Sure, honey." And I said, "I'm going to play in the Olympics." And she goes, "Sure, honey. Of course you will."
And have you ever played volleyball at that point?
I started that year.
At 8 years
yeah.
old. Okay.
And then when I was 15, I moved to the capital of my state, Minas Gerais, and played for a big club there. And then when I was 15, by the national team, I moved program, and then after that, played 2 Olympics indoor and then 2 Olympics on the beach.
And do you prefer indoor or beach volleyball?
You know, it's kind of
is that a trick question?
Yeah, it is because even though playing professionally on the beach, you're more flexible with your schedule and your family. You don't have to follow the team all the time. But then every time I say this, I feel like, I don't want to sound ungrateful to my wonderful years. And my Olympic medal is from indoor. So I can't say one. I think both were great. I had a wonderful time.
And so which Olympics did you compete in?
92 in Barcelona.
Okay.
And then we took 4th. We lost our bronze medal to US.
Sorry, not sorry.
US. And then in 96 we got bronze. And then in 2000 I was pregnant. I couldn't go. And then 2004 Athens, and 2008 Beijing, and I got 5th because I lost to Carrie Walsh.
Yes, who has become your friend over the years.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Carrie.
Yes, we love Carrie.
I love that you guys are friends, even though you competed against each other. I think that's, I'm not a sports person. I was a homeschool geek and music nerd. And so I am always fascinated, I guess, that even in the sports that just can be so intense or more, volleyball seems more personal because it's 2-on-2. And it's there's a lot at stake. It's not like football where there's all these people switching in and out, or basketball or baseball or those other sports, which are entertaining. I'm fascinated by volleyball because of the intensity of your rigorous quality of life that you have to just be ready. And I also am I wonder if they hate the other team. So it's fascinating to me that Carrie beat you and then you guys are friends. But I love that.
Yeah, not only Carrie, but most of the American girls. When I moved to US nearly 10 years ago, the first 2 weeks that I was here, that they saw on my Facebook and Twitter that I moved here, everybody started to call me like, "Oh, Anna, you're here. Let's get together." And I remember one time that I said, "Okay, let's play some volleyball. Why not?" So we gathered a bunch of former players together, and I thought, this is gonna be just fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna chit chat. We're gonna stretch.
Was it like hardcore competitive?
And then all of a sudden, we were yelling at each other like we're in the Olympics. Set me here, higher.
That's hilarious.
It's in our genes, I guess.
Did you break up into like teams by country, or did you break up into like who you wanted to play with?
We were like, okay, let's see. We broke them into like positions, setters and outside hitters and here and there. And I remember that one time, Carrie, her arm was hurt, and said, "Okay, Carrie, you're gonna set." Normally she doesn't set, but I thought like, okay, we're just gonna have fun and enjoy each other. No, the Olympic spirit was in.
Yeah, especially because it was such a big part of your life for so long. I mean, that'd be like asking a Wall Street guy to, not bid on something, right?
And
like
to just delete everything and
it's like that's in your DNA.
Yeah.
I really want to, like, my goal, and I will be the referee or the sideline reporter because I have zero athletic ability, but I really want to get you and Carrie together, and we'll do like a PragerU volleyball tournament.
That's done.
Yeah,
That's
like
a done
our
deal.
director of operations, Craig,
Done.
likes to play volleyball. I think my husband would be in on it. We'd have to bring in spouses because, no offense, like the two guys behind the camera, I don't know how athletic they are.
Pretty good.
They're arguing that they
good.
are right now. So I like a Carrie versus Ana, like PragerU
That
championship.
would be fun. And Carrie's husband plays as well.
Yeah.
Casey, and my husband played as well.
So we're definitely bringing spouses into this.
Absolutely.
But the girls are going to be the team captains because that'd be super fun. What was it like to represent your country in the Olympics? Like,
that was a dream come true for me, and a great honor. And then you realized how this responsibility when you get to the Olympics, and then you're walking in the Olympic Village, and then you start to see all those amazing stars from track and field and NBA players, and you go like, oh my, am I here? Pinch me. And then you realize that it's not you anymore or your sport, it's your country. So, and then when you reach the Olympics, it's pretty intense, it's pretty big, and it's a great sense of responsibility about what you say and what you do, because you're representing your country, a flag, and the people. So you have to present yourself in the best way, not only technically in your sport, but also as a person,
like your character
like
and your actions.
You're an ambassador of your country. So and every time, even though some people said in my fourth Olympic, like, oh, the media used to come to me and said, so you're used to this, how you feel? And I'm like, I still have the butterflies in my stomach. I still get the goosebumps when I hear our national anthem. It's very unique playing in the Olympics. I was very blessed to be able to play in four.
Did you feel like, I wonder, it has to be such a surreal feeling as well to kind of embrace that support of an entire nation cheering you on?
It's overwhelming.
Right?
It's overwhelming. Absolutely.
So you're now studying at UCLA and are a practicing architect. You can help us design like a new Facebook Live set if you want. Can you tell us about this second career and how, you ended up even here in Los Angeles?
Well, I got married, and Carl is American. And when we got married, we said, well, we dated almost 3 years, LA, Rio. I don't know how we did that, but
that's long.
I know.
Distance. I mean, I have some friends that gripe about like transcontinental relationships. That's wow.
I think, thank God for technology. I think without technology, we wouldn't be able to last that long.
Yeah.
But he was always in the tour with me, and I was always here, training here. And then when we finally got married, we looked at each other like, okay, somebody will have to move.
Who's doing it?
Yeah, and because I was still playing, Manhattan Beach and South Bay here in Los Angeles is the mecca of beach volleyball. I said, no problem, I'll move, and brought my son with me. And then 2 years after that, I decided to retire. And during my all 24 years of playing volleyball, I always had the passion for architecture and design. Always traveling, collecting books, and checking architecture spaces all over the world. And then I said one day, the day I retired, I will get the knowledge that I need to move on to my next career. And the day I retired, the next day I enrolled at UCLA. So
good for you.
4 years later, I'm graduating next month.
Oh, we should have gotten you a bouquet or something. We'll just invite ourselves to the graduation
There you
party.
go.
So, are you happy in America? Like, do you miss Brazil? I guess kind of what are the pros and the cons of immigrating here?
I do miss Brazil. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss my country, the energy, the people. But I do have a great life here. I was very welcomed here by everybody. My son, the same. So I can't complain. We have a great life here. We learned a lot. And I mean, it's Los Angeles and Rio. You can't get better than that, right?
I've never been.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to piggyback like your next trip down there and just be like, who's this blonde lady?
Yeah.
You know, she's just hanging on.
Even though geographically we're very apart, I think there is a sense of, we have a lot of similar things between Californians and Cariocas. Cariocas is the name of people who live in Rio or born in Rio. The outgoing personalities and the outdoor lifestyle and the sun and the beaches.
Are there lots of like creatives there?
Yeah. So it's very similar. It's very similar.
So what are some of the differences then between, you think, the United States as a whole, not just Los Angeles and Rio, but the United States as a whole and Brazil?
I think Americans are workaholics. And sometimes...
Is that a good or a bad thing?
That's the thing. And I always tell my son, because my son, he was born and raised till he was 9 years old in Rio, and now he's 16. And so I always tell him, like, okay, we have to bring the best of the two places. And Americans, they're workaholics, and sometimes they don't stop to have a little pleasure. And I see it, you know, my husband, it's working Saturday, working Sunday. Honey, just slow down. Sometimes Brazilians, they, especially in Rio, they have a tendency to have too much fun and postpone the work.
Not enough work.
I'll go to the beach, I'll finish tomorrow. So if you could combine both,
it'd be a good lifestyle.
It would be a good lifestyle. So that's my goal.
So I have a kind of personal question. I hope it's okay. But are you a citizen of the United States? So do you have dual citizenship?
Yes, dual.
Okay. And so then obviously you immigrated here legally to the United States. So what are your thoughts, I guess, on the current immigration debate as someone who immigrated here to the United States?
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting debate, especially because people are forgetting the word illegal and legal in this debate. So it's just, I think it's...
The LA Times doesn't even use the word illegal.
No. It's just
like in a definition of immigrants, like undocumented
generalizing immigration ban. So I didn't jump through the hoops. I mean, I had to follow the process. Before getting my citizenship, I had to stay in Brazil for 3 months without coming here and seeing my husband, because the process was at the American consulate in Rio. So I had to go through all the ordeal of becoming a legal American citizen, the green card first and then the American citizenship. So, and I see that America is a country with immigrants. And I feel that the country embraces us in a very fair, honorable, and warm way. I just don't understand why people don't want to respect this word illegal immigrants. I think that's there's no question that America welcomes all of us. We should just follow the law. It's why break the law? Why not follow what the due process is correct.
Did you feel like that due process was, because people on the right and the left side of the aisle have said that for those people that want to come legally, sometimes it's a little mundane, or the process is too long, or it's not strategic enough. Do you see some of the criticisms in their points?
I can see that, and I think if we could, if there's been a problem or just, too many stones on the way, too many bumps on the way and speed bumps, we should definitely try to look at this process and how can we make it better, how can we make it faster. But I'm a professional volleyball player. I come from a place that it's discipline, it's budget, it's planning. So I'm very disciplined in the way of following the steps, following the rules. So if there's been a problem, why not look at it and see what's slowing down the process for these people to become legal immigrants.
So where do you think the narrative that America is a place that is anti-immigrant comes from?
I think the narrative is just to attack the right. That's the narrative. It's about chopping the words. It's about not delivering the whole subject. It's about just putting the words out there according to the narrative that they want to sell to the audience. And the narrative now is right wingers are against immigrants, which is completely the opposite. I mean, look at me. I'm here and I feel welcome, and people love me and love my family and love my work, and they appreciate me and what I add to American society. So I think it's just to fit the narrative. There's just the left trying to fit their narrative and trying to make the right the bad guys.
So you've been here for over 10 years?
Almost 10 years.
Okay. And I heard a rumor that when you moved here, you were kind of a fan of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
So what changed in the last 10 years? What brought you to the PragerU side?
I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
I was intrigued by the figure of a woman being such a strong politician. And like our friend Felipe said last week here, we don't have right-wing media in Brazil like we have here. We have you guys, and we have a lot of amazing writers, and we have Fox News. We don't have that in Brazil. We have middle left. So it's very few journalists portray the true as it is, and Felipe, thank God, is one of them. So I was in Brazil bombarded by this middle left media, how great Obama is and how great the Clintons are and all that, and I'm like, oh, I'm a woman and I had to fight hard for my space in sports. And interesting that Hillary is such a big politician. So when I moved here 10 years ago, I was just curious, and her biography was out or something, and I turned to my husband, who's a full Republican. And I said, oh, I'm thinking about buying Hillary's book. And he goes, oh, go ahead, you buy the book today, and tomorrow you're going back to Brazil.
Oh, snap. So what happened after?
And that kind of like
wait a second
struck me like, what? So
then did you ask him, like, did you implore a little bit, all right, what's wrong with her?
Yeah,
or did you kind of do your own research?
No, I said, what's wrong with her? And this is the side that I absolutely love about Republicans and conservatives. It's not the I think. It's here's this. Here are the facts, the numbers. It's a lot of resource, a lot of material for you to take your own conclusions. And then when he started to provide me a lot of things that are
like evidence,
they were undeniable. I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have Brazil. What's going on? And then I started to read Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro. I started to listen to O'Reilly and Hannity, and I'm like, where is this world in Brazil? We don't have this. And so I really admire Felipe and some of the others very few journalists in Brazil that are trying to break this wall and show Brazilians, because we are a very conservative country.
He had said the same thing. He said that when you look at the polling of the country, Brazilian voters as a whole are very pro-life.
Very pro-life.
They're very like personally religious. Therefore,
against the legalization of drugs.
Yeah.
Yes. We're very like the numbers are 80-something%.
So where's the gap then? Between what their mindset is and then the very left corrupt government they continually elect into office.
I think one of the problems we have in Brazil is that there are a few problems. I think one of them is that we have too many parties. We have like 33, 35 parties.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And none of those are right-leaning, as we discussed with Felipe.
No, they're very center. Center is the rights that we can get. And it gets really confusing because when it comes to pass bills and vote laws, there are these weird collisions that people get really confused. Who is part of this and what are we voting? Another problem in Brazil is that, and living here, I was amazed how federalism works. In Brazil, we don't have that. In Brazil, it's pretty much like we are under the big mom and daddy federal umbrella, and everything has to go through the federal courts and federal judges.
So there's not the branches of government like we have here.
No. And a great example that I tell my friends in Brazil is that probably 5-6 years ago, my son's high school needed a big remodeling. It was dated the gyms and the classrooms.
And he goes to public school.
He goes to public school. And so we're down the beach, went to the government and said, hey, we need $100 million to make our school a little better.
That better be a lot better.
Right.
$100 million.
And of course, the government said, oh, sorry, we don't have that money. So, and here's the beauty of the independence of, and the federalism that U.S. lives is that we voted to some measure, whatever in our county, that we could get the money from the government, the $100 million that we needed to renew the entire school and increase the property taxes for the next 25 years. And the whole county said, yes, let's do that. So today...
But you chose to take that tax on by yourself. It wasn't Congress or the executive branch.
It didn't take forever because people know that if your house is in a good school district, your property will value more. So people have this sense of the sub layers, the second layer, third layer of how being politically active in your community is. And when I tell that story to people in Brazil, and they go like, oh my gosh, that would take forever here in Brazil. So besides the many parties we have in Brazil, the 35 parties, we have like a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of paperwork, a lot of hoops to jump to just go to finalize something important for the country.
So you mentioned your son, and he's in high school. He's very tall and very handsome. I mean, he has good genes. Does he watch our PragerU videos?
Oh my gosh, you guys are just last night, for an instance, Sunday, I got his room and it was like midnight. I'm like, honey, what are you doing up? You have to finish your homework. And he, pushed pause and he's like, sorry, Mom, I got carried away in the PragerU videos. I was watching here and I just keep clicking. So I am very grateful to PragerU videos because, here in California, there are a lot of liberals here in California, and Gabriel.
He probably goes to school and is taught by a few of them.
Exactly. And PragerU videos have been an amazing source, an amazing tool for him to show his friends.
Wow, he's brave enough to show his friends.
He does.
He should be an honorary member of Prager Force.
He does. And sometimes he shows me texts of his friends saying, like after a few days, Gabriel, I just realized I am conservative.
Wow.
So you guys have been doing an amazing job, like
Thanks.
really opening the minds, especially for the young people who are here, especially here in California, bombarded by CNN, LA Times, and all the liberal media. So it's been a blessing. So
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
We're going to make Gabriel a member of Prager Force. He can do it. And by the way, if you're like wondering what is this force thing, it's not, I mean, the force will be with you, but that's for all the geeks out there. But you should go to the PragerU website, and if you have a high school student or a college student, or if you are a high school student or a college student watching right now, you can click in the upper right hand corner, I believe, of PragerU.com, and make sure that you sign up to become a member of Prager Force, and Devin and Jolene will follow up with you pretty soon, and then you can be involved in making all of your friends conservatives too. So let's get back to sports for a second. Can you share with us like what your training regimen and your sleep regimen and all, like your diet regimen and all that stuff was like when you were, I mean, because you played volleyball for 24 years.
yeah,
That's a long time.
that's a long time.
So for that entire 24 years, was your regimen pretty much the same when you were training
Pretty
and
much
stuff?
the same. Yeah, pretty much the same. I don't remember having a social life until I was probably 30. But very grateful.
So you were 22 when you competed in your first Olympics? Or?
22.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and I think that the part of my disposition today to go back to college, stay there 4 more years, and driving kids around. And some people, they ask me, my friends, like, oh, what do you do, and what's the secret? I don't think the answer is not what I do now, but what I did my whole life, taking care of my body, my mind, and my health and my diet. But you have to have pleasure, you know. If it's miserable, and I always tell my son this, if it's miserable, it's just not worth it. You have to do something that you like, that you know you're capable, that it's your path, and you have to enjoy that. Because some people, they think it's miserable to not have a social life, not drink alcohol, or having a strict diet. But the upper side of this sacrifice, you know, you have an amazing life, you travel the world, and you get to meet wonderful people. So sports, and also sports also was a big learning process for me, how to become a good citizen, a good mom, focused, disciplined. So now I go, my teachers at UCLA, they make fun of me that I don't accept an A-.
Perfection.
Yeah, it's just like
Gold or bust.
Yeah, I get an A-, and I text them like, what can I do to bump up my grade to A+? And Anna, you're fine. 8 is fine. Good, go. But this is good. It's a blessing and a curse sometimes, because you get carried away trying to get perfection. But I can't complain. I had a good life.
So when you retired, it's not like you went like to Baskin Robbins and then happy hours and just started like binge eating ice cream?
No.
Okay. Because I might be tempted to do that and be like, no more training.
No, but you know, I'll be fair that now when people ask me like, oh, do you now? And I see some interviews from former athletes saying, oh, when you stop playing and you retire, you get so addicted to going to the gym and you just continue to go. And I read that, I'm like, I'm not addicted to go to the gym every day for 5 hours. Like, no, I can't do that anymore.
How often do you go to the gym? Or are you more like an outdoorsy active person?
Yeah, I exercise like pretty much every day, but then I run with my dog and I, you know, play with my kids. But like gym now is only like 3-4 times a week. It's
okay, I need your exercise regimen, your diet secrets, and your like skin secrets. But if you don't want to do that on the Facebook Live, we can do it later. So finally, last question. Rio hosted the recent Olympics, and there was tons of press coverage about the pros, cons, and then everything in between. Do you think it was a net positive or negative for your country as a whole to host the Olympics?
I think during the Olympics it was very positive. Everybody was very afraid of how we were going to deliver such a big event to the world.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, especially coming from major successful events, past events, 2012 and 2008, Beijing and London. We were scared. I'm not going to lie to you. And I worked for the beach volleyball event, and we were very scared, like, oh gosh. Then when you see people arriving and the whole Olympics period taking over the city, it's overwhelming. After the Olympics, we were like, whew, everything went right. It was a success. The whole world media was talking about how great it was, and journalists there. The sad part, though, is that now when you go back and you see 6 months later all the venues, it's just so sad. They're completely abandoned. There's absolutely no money, no budget to continue to take care of the legacy that we spent so much money building it. We understand as a nation that there was a lot of corruption involved building everything for the Olympics. But at least I was hoping, like, okay, there was corruption, there was some money under the table, but let's take care of our legacy. And it hasn't happened. And it's been very sad how to go back now and see some photos of, it's devastating. You look photos 6 months after the Olympics, and it's like they've been there for 20 years.
Like a wasteland.
Wasteland.
So with your experience of I didn't know that you actually worked on the Olympics. That's fascinating because you've got the behind the scenes.
Right.
You have so much more information than the average person because you've competed in Olympics and then you worked in, with the committee to make the volleyball event happen. Do you think that it's worth it for the United States? Like here in Los Angeles, for example, I've seen all these pitches for LA to host the 2024 Olympics. Do you think it's worth it for a city and a country to host the Olympics?
I think for LA, yes. It will be because LA already has the structure, the Olympic structure. We already have the universities. We already have the past Olympics structure here to the city. My son trains volleyball. His club trains at the StubHub facility where the velodrome is. And the velodrome was made for the 1984 Olympics.
Oh, wow.
And it's in perfect state. It's in perfect shape. I even had a periscope one day from there because people wouldn't believe it. It's perfect. It's brand new. So LA already has this amazing structure to hold the Olympics, to host the Olympics. So it wouldn't be, and LA has the profitable approach to Olympics, while in Brazil a lot of public money was used, made the nation a little bit angry because we do have a deep deficit in public hospitals, public schools. Nothing is really well taken care of. So there was a point where the nation started to ask, like, why are we spending so much money?
Yeah. Are we spending it here instead of over here?
Right? With so many problems that we have throughout the country. But LA doesn't have that problem. LA has a more profitable approach to the Olympics, and the whole structure is already built. So it will be great.
That's an interesting take. Eric Garcetti should take some talking points from you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And hashtag goals 2017 is to get Team Carrie and Team Ana PragerU volleyball tournament. I think beach is more fun than indoor.
It's more fun.
Get messy, get sand rashes.
And it's not hard on your joints and your knees and your bones and your muscles.
Go. So we're going to make it happen this summer, and we should really Facebook Live that so you all can laugh hysterically at us. Thank you, Ana, for being here today. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and share this, and stay tuned this week for a lot more very exciting Facebook Lives here from the PragerU HQ.